What's up YouTube, how you guys doing today, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm excited to go ahead and share some more pictures here with you guys of my second trip this year. Yeah, I've taken more trips this year than the last couple of years, so I'm really excited to go ahead and share my experience here with you guys. But yeah, I'm excited to go ahead and share some of these images here for you guys, and let's not waste any time and let's go ahead and get started. Let's go. This time, instead of going to the northwest, we actually went to the southwest, and yeah, we actually went pretty deep into LA, and I'm really excited to go ahead and share some of the images. I definitely felt like I got a little bit more of a sort of locals tour of LA, which I was pretty excited about. This trip was a family trip that my mom invited me to go to. As per usual, I went ahead and packed all my camera equipment. Okay, not all of it, because I don't want to take some of the lights and some of the other stuff, but I did take all of my cameras. Every camera that I owned was with me, at least the ones that worked. But I had all my cameras with me. I had my Sony a6400, I had my Insta360, I had my Olympus Infinite AF1 for the rest of the world, and I had my Konica Auto Reflect A. And yeah, I usually pack a lot of things and I end up not using them, and pretty much that's what happened. I ended up packing all these cameras and didn't end up using all of it. I did use my Sony a6400 and my film cameras because, you know, you guys have been pretty much watching this channel for the last couple of days. I have a lot of film stuff that I've been putting up, and yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. So if you guys enjoyed this kind of content, feel free to go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to click share, all that fun stuff. But anyways, it was about 4:30 in the morning when my mom called me to let me know that she was on her way to come and pick us up. Yeah, we barely got up. We were trying really hard to get up. I feel like the night before a trip, I can never sleep. For some reason, I'm too anxious, too excited. I have no idea, but sometimes I can't sleep before a trip. So yeah, so she picked us up around 5. We ended up going over to my grandma's house to wait for everybody else to get to the house and kind of convoy out of Salt Lake. So yeah, that's kind of how we do it. You know, we just drive and it's just like a freaking convoy of cars. It wasn't that many this time. I think it was only 3. We end up usually taking like 4 or 5 cars. So yeah, this one wasn't too bad. So we ended up convoying out of Salt Lake, headed over to Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I didn't get any pictures of sort of out the window, you know, of the scenery, anything like that. I was driving most of the time, and some of the things that I saw when we were parked, I would go out and take it, but other than that, I don't have much of the actual road trip in a sense. But it wasn't bad. We arrived in Las Vegas, and I don't have any clips of that either. But I do have some pictures, and I'm gonna go ahead and share those there. We ended up actually arriving around 1, 2 o'clock, I think it was. We had breakfast, because yeah, I don't think we actually had any breakfast before that. But when we got to Las Vegas, we ended up having breakfast, had McDonald's, I think, and I ended up actually finding a cool location that I kind of wandered off to and took some pictures. You actually will see some of those here. I kind of like them. They ended up being one of my favorite ones, actually. After that, we went ahead and dropped off all of my sort of brother and cousins luggage because they flew the night before to Las Vegas to wait for us because they didn't want to drive. So we went to drop off their luggage to the airport. As they were already waiting for us there, we just kind of gave them their luggage and kind of like walked them over to their gate, and that was pretty interesting. You know, a lot of the kiddos was actually their first time flying over to Mexico, so that was pretty interesting for them. p.m. After we went ahead and dropped off their luggage and dropped them off in their plane, we went ahead and headed over to the hotel to kind of check in, get everything ready. And yeah, I don't know what happened. We were talking about going out and, you know, walking the strip, but it did not happen. We fell asleep. I think it was like 7-8 p.m. and we were just like passed out. But anyways, Friday morning came and we took off. It was so dang hot. Oh, and fun fact, freaking AC wasn't working the day before and we reached over 106 degrees in the freaking freeway and it was horrible. Yeah, thankfully, Friday morning, after having breakfast, because we of course wanted breakfast first, ended up going back to the McDonald's, and I actually took the same picture that I took before. I took it again, but at a different time, and it looked the same, to be honest. Apart from the clouds, I think, and maybe a little bit of the angle, I think it was pretty much the same. So yeah, not much there. So after we had breakfast, we went ahead and drove over to a AutoZone. I think it was an O'Reilly. Anyways, doesn't really matter. Not sponsored by them, but we ended up going over to the O'Reilly's to buy a little canister of like that liquid that you can put on your AC and it'll cool your car down with the AC and stuff. And then we succeeded. It worked. The AC finally worked, and we decided to hit the road to finally get to LA. After about 4 hours of driving, we finally made it to LA, and we actually ended up going to the hotel. We ended up getting a room, getting everything settled. We put our stuff away. Once we left the hotel, we ended up going to, I guess it's called like the fashion place markets thing. It's an alleyway with a lot of vendors with clothing, accessories, knives, freaking things and other things, and it's pretty much like a swap meet type of thing. Once we got to the alley market, I needed to load a new roll on my cameras, both of them actually. So I loaded a Kodak Color 200 on my Konica, and also I loaded a Kodak Ultramax 400 on my Olympus. Walking around, I saw a lot of interesting things, a lot of interesting people as well. I actually got one of my favorite pictures of the lady holding the guitar. I really like that picture, just of the composition, just her expression of just like walking, going through life, not knowing that technically I was taking a picture of her, which sounds a little creepy, but I really like the picture that I was able to take. I was able to capture just her essence of just being in her own world. And unfortunately, when we got there, they were closing down. They were getting ready to close down. So we didn't get a lot of things. We weren't able to see a lot of things there. We did decide to go over to one of the oldest haciendas in California. My understanding is that this hacienda was actually owned by the first governor of California. That when that happened, it was still part of Mexico, which is still pretty interesting. It has a lot of Spanish influence based on the architecture of the actual buildings. I got some pictures here and there that I wanted to go ahead and share. Not all of them are great. I thought I had a good one, but unfortunately it's out of focus and I'm not going to talk about it. But you guys will actually be able to see all of the pictures. I kind of wanted to go ahead and show all the pictures just because, you know, yeah, you can show the best one, but you know, sometimes you kind of have to show the better ones because you kind of have to understand that you're always going to get, unfortunately, a bad image. After walking for a little bit, we started to notice that some of the people were closing down their shops. So we decided to head back. But before we headed back, we actually found a somewhat of a danzón concert. I don't know if you guys know danzón, but it's a very popular dance back in the 60s, 50s back in Mexico. Yeah, we decided to go and try to see if we can still catch the sunset back in Santa Monica. And we got in our cars, we drove over to Santa Monica to see if we could catch the sunset, and we made it at the perfect time. It was actually a really nice golden hour lighting. It was amazing light. It was so cool. It was yeah. You know, I said I had a couple shots, which I did shoot once we got to Santa Monica. I got some really great shots here and there. You guys will be able to see the last couple of shots that I took from Santa Monica. Yeah. Anyways, I went through the last couple of shots on my Konica. That first roll was great. It was amazing. And I was really excited for the second roll. And yeah, I need to make sure that I'm loading my camera correctly. This is what, the fourth, maybe fifth roll that I ruined because I didn't know how to load it. Well, I know how to load it, but I just was too anxious and I didn't load the roll properly, and I lost all of the second roll. And I was really excited for that roll. I feel like there was some of like my best work there, and now it's lost in the void of overdeveloped film. Anyways, to explain what happened, once we got to Santa Monica, of course I finished that first roll and I was getting ready, and I was like, I need to make sure that I'm ready for the sunset. So I wanted to make sure to get my roll on the camera as fast as I could, get it ready and start shooting. And yeah, I shouldn't have done that because unfortunately it was a little loose when I was loading the roll, that ended up getting caught on itself, ended up folding on itself, and ended up ruining the whole roll, to be honest. Yeah, ruined another roll, damn. And yeah, that second roll is somewhere in the nothingness of my failures. I didn't know that I ruined the roll until the next day. But yeah, funny thing is that I actually took out my Sony camera and started shooting using the flash, and yeah, pretty interesting actually, because I actually got some really good pictures, so I just wanted to go ahead and share those. Those are more digital, unfortunately. In my naive world of not knowing what happened to the roll, I was still shooting happily and having fun, and that's a good thing, because if I knew that my roll was completely ruined, I probably wouldn't have shot those other pictures. We ended up heading back up to our cars after sunset, after blue hour, and yeah, it was great. It was beautiful. I really got some great images from my other camera, because I also did take pictures with my Olympus. Those weren't too bad. I actually got some decent pictures there, but unfortunately my main camera, my Konica, had all my favorite ones, which they're lost again. Yeah, no need to be sad about that. We got these other images that are still great, really like, but yeah, I wish I could get the other ones back. Anyways, we went ahead and headed back to our hotel to rest because we were tired. Actually, no, that is a lie. We ended up going over to the El Gato night market, something like that. There was a lot of food, really great. I got some pictures, got some food, great food, but yeah, nothing much there. We headed finally to the hotel to rest like at 1 in the morning. I don't even know, it was pretty late. We were out pretty much all day, so I was exhausted. I didn't even care what time it was. We woke up Saturday morning, not that early to be honest, because we were exhausted, but we woke up still naive of what actually happened to my roll, which again, bummed me out pretty much the whole day, but it's all right. Nothing to be concerned about right now, I guess. We woke up and we decided to do a little trip. I actually wanted to get food first, but I was happy with where we ended up going. So yeah, I'm not too upset about that. We ended up taking a road trip over to East LA, and what East LA location to choose from but the East LA Pine. And wow, I actually never thought I would actually see it, just because I've always heard that it was very sort of like dangerous or whatever. Before we got to this location, I noticed that the roll was stuck, so that's when I decided to pry it open and see what was going on. And honestly, I really needed to do that because the roll was folded into itself, and I decided to switch it to the third Kodacolor 200. Yeah, we ended up going to East LA and seeing the East LA Pine, and wow, being a fan of movies, I love Blood In and Blood Out. So if you guys haven't seen it, really great Chicano movie. Talks about, you know, being in LA, and especially in East LA, and going through the sort of gangster life of Mexican sort of gangs and things like that. So it's a really great movie, so I highly recommend it. But yeah, we went to go visit East LA and the Pine, as well as Cinco Puntos, which is the restaurant featured in that movie, by the way, as well. And yeah, we took some pictures, you know, being sort of like the ghetto that I ended up being, and honestly I really don't want to be, but yeah, you know, like I would dress with bandana and everything, you know, freaking cholo, you know, like fucking thing, but it was more of a dream than anything, you know. That's not what I want anymore, of course, but it was fun. It was fun sort of seeing those locations, and you know, seeing sort of like history as Chicano culture and all that. So that was fun. Really recommend if you can visit there. Please be careful out there, of course. We ended up deciding to go to the Queen Mary. Now, when we got to the Queen Mary, we actually didn't think it was gonna be that pricey, to be honest. Oh my god, it was like $90 for a tour, and I was like, ugh. And that was per person too, by the way. So we were like 15 of us, and we were like, yeah, they're not gonna pay, you know, $1,500 for a freaking tour of the Queen Mary. Although it sounds kind of fun, but that's maybe for another time when we don't have 15 people with us. So from there, we actually decided to visit another ship, another tour ship, more of like to see it from the outside, because it looks kind of cool, you know. And it was kind of our first time being around this area, so our family was like, hey, let's go take you this, let's go take you over here, you can take pictures of that. So that was pretty nice, you know. My family was like, hey, you know, you can take pictures of that, take pictures of this, take pictures of that. And yeah, so which I did, you know. I had a lot of fun. I did actually take a lot of pictures. After visiting the battleship, we went ahead and headed over to Long Beach. Yeah, Long Beach was one of my favorite locations to shoot. A little busy. There's literally a ton of people there. It took us like probably 20 to 30 minutes to actually find a parking spot. So yeah, it was actually really fun. I actually had one of my favorite photos taken here, and unfortunately it wasn't on film. But it's okay. It's okay. It's a digital image, which is fine. I still really like some of these pictures that I took. And unfortunately, with my miss of not loading the roll properly, I was a little bit scared that I wasn't getting a good picture of this trip. So I decided to switch between my film to my digital camera to make sure that I had a good picture to give to you guys, I guess, in a sense. So yeah, so you guys will see a different variety of digital and film pictures in this sort of section here of my trip. As I made my way back to where my family was already waiting for me. It looks like they had already thought to, you know, head over to another location, and yeah, they were just waiting for me. They had the whole camp down. They took everything down. Everything was already in the cars, and they were just waiting for me. And I was like, okay. So I went ahead and, you know, changed really quick, which I don't think I actually did change. I just kind of kept my shorts and put a new shirt, and I was good. I was like, all right, let's get out of here. So we ended up heading over to Hollywood for that Saturday night, and yeah. I felt like that was the longest walk I've ever done, especially because I had already done a walk in the beach while I was just taking pictures, taking videos, things like that. So I was exhausted. We ended up getting to Hollywood. A lot of people needed to use the restroom. There's not a lot of restrooms in LA, and yeah, it was great. We ended up going through some of the streets. It was a chaotic night. There was a sort of another night market going on somewhere in Hollywood, and we ended up like stumbling into it, and that's kind of where we actually found some restrooms. So they went ahead and went to the restroom, and we just kind of hang back waiting for everyone. A lot of them are digital, using the flash, and I almost got caught using the flash, which was pretty interesting. I was walking around and I saw a cool picture and I snapped it, and it's actually one of the girls that I snapped a picture of. She was like, hey, did you take my picture? And I just kind of like ignored it and kept walking, and then yeah, it wasn't too bad. And again, we had dinner in the middle of Hollywood, where there was a freaking taco vendor there, and honestly, bomb ass tacos, to be honest. Goddamn, those tacos were good. Anyways, dude, this whole freaking trip was like probably like street food most of the time, which it was great. Like, I enjoyed it. It was so good. But yeah, anyways, no fancy restaurant, nothing like that. Just, you know, street tacos at the wazoo. So, but finally we headed over to the hotel to sleep it off, because the next day we were gonna drive all the way back without stopping in Las Vegas. So it was gonna be a long ride. So we decided to go ahead and call it a night and went to bed. Yeah. I thought that we were gonna wake up and head home. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Oh my god. It was the longest day that I've ever had. I feel like I was so exhausted by the freaking Sunday night. Anyways, we ended up driving all the way from LA to Salt Lake City non-stop for that day. And the problem is that we decided to get some breakfast and to visit the alley market again. Yeah, my family likes to shop a lot, so they wanted to hit that place again, now that it wasn't gonna be, you know, completely empty, or not empty, but half empty, because a lot of people were already closing the first time that we went. So my family wanted to make sure that we got the whole sort of experience of the alley market when it was at the full peak. And oh my god, it's so freaking busy, but it's great. It was so hot. Regrets all the way through, but no regrets at all. Well, anyways guys, that is all that I have for you guys here today. If you guys like this video, feel free to go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you guys haven't already. We will see you guys on the next video next week, where I actually ended up going to an air show. That was really fun, also on film, and a little bit of digital here and there. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you guys so much again for checking out today's video. We will see you guys on the next one, and yeah, we'll see you guys. Peace out.